Howdy partners, this is Katie Scott with Kiss and Tell Scrapbooking, and I can't fake a cowboy accent, but I am coming to you from the Pan Am Hunger Games district of 10. 10 is for livestock, and so today I'm going to tell you 10 funny cow stories. And if you think it would be hard to come up with 10 funny cow stories, I challenge you to try it, because I came up with 10 quite easily. And then I came up with 5 more, and I'm pretty sure that if I thought about it, I could come up with even more. And so I've brought some dystopian looking livestock for you. What we're doing on the Kiss and Tell Scrapbooking blog is we are taking each district of the Hunger Games, which is a movie that's coming out in March 2012, and each district in the book and the movie has an industry, and the industry is our inspiration for a topic for scrapbooking. You don't need to take it extremely literally, or you can. It's all up to you. This is completely for fun. But I just wanted to show you by taking, this is a trick I learned from Stacy Julian. She had a page that she called 10 Otherwise Forgot 10, and she like capitalized the 10 in Otherwise Forgot 10. Memories about childhood, where she just listed out 10 random memories from her childhood that otherwise would be forgotten. So what I did was I took, this is actually 11 pictures, but this is a recent picture where we saw cows on a trip that we went on just last month, or this month, beginning of this month. And then I took 10 pictures that are related to funny stories that I have about cows. And it's just a way to kind of like a story prompt to jog your memory. I also found my son's cowboy hat, my husband's tie, and so we're not cow people. We don't live on a farm. We don't, really have much to do with cows at all, except that if you take one topic, it can be anything, you can start to think of things that you have that's a memory for that topic. Just try it. This is also sort of an improv technique, and I talk a lot about how the principles of improvisational comedy can be applied to scrapbooking. And this is one way that you can do that. Improvisers, a lot of times, somebody throws out a word from the audience, and then they just have to come up with a story right then and there. And you can do that, but not have to make up stories, although if you would like to make up stories in your scrapbooking, you're perfectly welcome to do that. But I betcha you could think of 10 random things for just about anything. So this is just a way to spice it up. And so I'm not saying, you want to do these types of pages all the time, but it's a good way if you're like, I want to make a scrapbook page because I love to scrapbook, but I'm really not sure what kind of story I want to tell. And I think that if I tell, if I just show a pretty picture, I can't really think of a way to like create a good story. So sometimes it's good to start with a story, but if you just can't think up a good story, like use a prompt. And the prompt can be anything. That's something we can learn from improvisational comedy. So I just got, first I went into Picasa on Google. It's a free photo processing software, and I just put this collage together, and then you can even write text over the photo, and then I numbered each photo. So each photo, and I'll have a picture of this on the blog, and that will be better, it'll be easier to see. Okay, so then I got into my word processing software, and I wrote this much about 10 random cow memories, and I will also have this up on the blog. But just, the boys in high school used to tell us that they went cow tipping, and how we never really believed them. That before I was the age of 10, my name is Katie, and everyone used to sing me the song, Katie, my beautiful Katie, you're the only girl that I adore, when the moon shines over the cowshed. Like, everyone used to sing that. Not so much anymore, but whew, I used to get that a lot. About how when my husband and I were dating, one time we were up in Georgia and in the country, and we were on a four-wheeler, and we came across a herd of cows, and we started mooing at the cows, and the bull cow did not like that one bit. And then earlier this month, sort of that same thing happened with me and the kids when we were mooing at cows, because if we see cows, we moo at them. Which that didn't even make it into this, but that's something about our family and cows that if you would think, do we have anything to do with cows? No, not really. But once you start to think of one thing, then you will start to think of more and more and more. Another principle of improvisational comedy is that one game that you play in an intro to improv class is you will stand in a circle with everyone, and you have to say words that start with P, and then everybody keeps going around, and you can't say the same word twice. So everyone will maybe go around 2 or 3 times, and then you'll start to feel like you've run out of words. But then somebody will say another word that starts with P, and then that will be like a trigger. Like maybe you've been saying people, places, parks, paradise, and like kind of P words that indicate a place. And then somebody will say pink, and then maybe you'll go off on persimmon and pink grapefruits and pink lemonade and who knows what. But it's just, if you take one topic and just try to exhaust it, and that's called, in improv, I think it's called piling it on, or maybe another name for it. I'll look it up. So these are 10 stories I had, funny stories I had about cows. You can see there's a lot there. And then found like 11 pictures, and then I found 2 more, or 1 more. There were actually more than that, but it dressed up. My son had cowboy jammies when he was a little boy, and I took him to the portrait studio with a cow. I totally forgot that I did that. And then I just wrote my other 5 more stories about cows, like how when the kids were little, I used to read them Mr. Brown Can Moo, and I read this book so many times I can recite the entire thing by heart, and I think I will be able to do that until the day I die, for real. This is like locked in. Mr. Brown Can Moo, can you? About how my husband, with that cartoon movie about the cows where they have the horns and the udders, he can talk about that for an hour. How he wears this tie, he's a lawyer, to work. And I was like, you're wearing a cow tie to work, really? And sometimes he will even wear it to court. Like, okay, honey, that's weird, but okay. And then another story about how Mac, my son, told me an elaborate story about milking a cow, and how that gave me a unique perspective into his ADHD. And then we kind of had one of those light bulb moments, like in the game, where like instantly, now the door is open and we understand something more about him. All relates to cows. Isn't that weird? And how the kids have a stuffed cow from when they were little that talks, and sometimes it's in one of their closets. It will just start talking randomly. It's very weird. So I had all of this information about something that I never planned to scrapbook about cows. Okay, it's not it was never my, like, oh, I think but it's a nice creative exercise, and these are otherwise forgotten stories and memories, and they just make your overall scrapbooking richer, I think, when you include all sorts of different things. And so to get everything on one page, and this paper is so cool, it's flocked, and I thought it looked like the pattern of a cow. But I sewed this on, so this is a pocket, it just fits right in there, and then this is also just going to go in just like that, and that is the page for the Hunger Games Scrapbooking Challenge District 10, not agriculture, that was District 11. Livestock is District 10 in the Hunger Games. So join me on Kiss and Tell Scrapbooking, or on Flickr, the Hunger Games Scrapbooking Challenge, or there's an event on Facebook. And I am Katie Scott. My blog is Kiss and Tell Scrapbooking, and thank you for watching my random craziness. I feel like I should say something cowboy, but all I can think of is howdy.